Hello everyone and welcome back to another race, week 3 of Earthbound Super Series. Tonight we have Serra versus ChefGobes. We'll be starting here in just 1 second. Good luck, have fun to our runners. Hope we will see a great race tonight. Both of our runners here are in the 1 win, 1 loss bracket for week 3. We will see who goes on to be 2-1 and who goes on to be 1-2 after tonight. Now Serra, she finished with a 1:12.50 for her first week, a 1:13.03 for her second week, so just around a 1:13 average for the first 2 races. ChefGobes has a 1:19 and a 1:24. So there is a bit of leeway for Serra here depending on how well the race goes, but as always there is quite a bit of RNG and quite a bit of game to play through. So we'll have to see how the run goes. Certainly anyone's game. One of the first things I always like to see is how are we going to, or who is going to get the bat on, looks like both runners are grabbing the bat from Tracy's room on the first pass. You can get it on any of the 3 times you go by, as long as you get it and equip it before you try the leave with Pokey. Hello everyone in chat. Welcome in Raiders from Ricky 2K3. You all are just in time. Doing the first hill climb here. I am going to attempt to get our runners synced a little bit here. Please bear with me. Okay, I think it's about as close as I'm going to get it. I will no longer mess with it. Woken up in the dead of night to some crazy knocking by Pokey. Something that may be important to note. As long as you cross this line horizontally, as you can see both runners at, like right in front of that plant there, it doesn't matter if you're close to the door or if you're close to the bottom of the screen. As long as you cross that line, it will trigger the cutscene. Hello Norak, you're very welcome. Shout outs to the entire Earthbound Super Series administration crew that make all of this possible, and the commentators and restreamers that help out. We did see a strat by Serra here. Going above the couch is slightly faster. However, if you get stuck on the lamp, it is no longer faster. A bit riskier movement to save a few frames here and there. Daniel, you're very welcome if you'd like.
All right, testing.
I can hear you, and the stream can hear you. Seems like levels are good.
Perfect. How you doing today, Shuki?
I am doing pretty good. This entire month has been some craziness, but you know, it's October, it's spooky season, it's time to get all up in all the things.
Yeah, it's time to get scared and get COVID like I did. Don't get COVID, everyone. Please do not get COVID. I'm very serious. It was terrible. I hated it. I did not like it. Nobody do it.
As
Hi, Ori.
the social recluse, I perhaps the one advantage.
It was bad, but I'm not here to talk about COVID. I'm recovered from COVID. I'm feeling okay. I'm here to talk about some Earthbound. It looks like ChefGobes now at the top of the hill, which is great. Serra looking like they're just like a bit of a cutscene ahead of them. So we got a small lead already.
Yep, it is a pretty close race. We did see Serra do the pokey pull as well, which Sarah's been saving some frames going above the couch, doing the pokey pull.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where Buzz has to touch Pokey's head before he starts his whole speech. And so if you walk upwards a little bit and pull Pokey as close to the meteorite as possible, Buzz gets to Pokey just that much, just a tiny bit quicker. It's one of those tiny little frame savers. So we saw Sarah go for that. She started mashing a little early. And unfortunately started, doing some no problems here, but if you take some, you lose some, you know what I mean?
There's a lot of really fun movement and small little micro time saves that can be done in Earthbound. It's really fun to kind of learn them all and collect them all, I guess, as you could say.
Start collecting every single little tiny frame saver. Yeah, there's like a handful of tiny movement things. They do add up, but at the end of the day, the thing that always shines the most is really the decision making and how quickly you're able to make those decisions. And wow, Buzz getting a crit there for Serra, keeping it a 2-cycle because it was looking like it might not be.
So I was hearing earlier in one of the races, getting an extra cycle is about the same time loss as getting an encounter on the hill.
Depending on the encounter. Sometimes crows can take a little bit longer because they have 77 speed, so they're very fast. They dodge a lot. But yeah, getting the 3-cycle is not fun. It depends. It also depends on what Starman does as well. Because if you just fire on the extra turn that he does, that's a lot more time you're losing comparatively. Meanwhile, for Gobes, I saw like 2 guards and a freeze, but it is looking like it's going to be a 3-cycle.
And unfortunately, Buzz has to make sure he keeps that shield up every other turn.
Yeah, Buzz scripted every other turn to put a little shield up, just to make sure, just so the game tries its hardest so that you don't die here. There are ways you can die to Starman Jr., but they're long and involved. They either involve death warping before Starman or grinding on the hill until you get physical shield alpha, and then you can put that on yourself to replace the psychic shield, and then the psychic attack kills you. But you're not going to see anything like that in these Boogie percent races. There's manip categories that do the prior death warp where we manipulate it because that's like really the only way to make it consistently fast enough. Ooh, Sarah getting a dog. Almost getting into the fight with the dog, but she manages to avoid it.
She gracefully gets it stuck on the tree and despawns it, and now she's on her way to get the Mr. Baseball cap.
Yeah, Mr. Baseball
Ooh.
Cap, not for equipping, mostly for selling. Sells for 99. Dude, butterflies coming left and right for sale.
The butterfly was out to get her.
Yeah, there's a butterfly a little bit lower, and then a butterfly just trying to waste her time. She doesn't really need the butterfly right now. She's got full HP and psychic points, so it would be a waste of time currently. Sometimes butterflies are nice, but they always show up when you don't need them.
It's true. ChefGobes finishing up his speech with Buzz while Serra is withdrawing some money to do some shopping and on net here.
Yeah, she's going to be buying some extra offense with the T-ball bat, and then she's going to be buying a baseball cap, which gives her slightly less defense than the Mr. Baseball cap, but it gives her enough money to also buy the cheap bracelet, which ends up being more defense total. And that's how we're able to take on the arcade section as early as we do. You're going to see Serra do very particular type of movement here to avoid shark spawns in front of the arcade.
Starting up this first Pogo Punk fight here. Ideally, we won't see any charge forwards like we did just see.
Well, that was a regular attack. That was a charge forward. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong screen. I was looking at the Twitch stream by accident. It started with a regular attack and then did a charge forward. You're correct.
Yep. Picking up some safety trash juice. ChefGobes did get into a oil snake fight out of the zoo, unfortunately. Almost getting stuttered past it.
Yeah, stuttering, one of those things that is tough to learn. Ooh, Serra actually dying to the second Pogo Punk. And ChefGobes taking, you know, you take that coil snake fight, and also I think they got into a fight on the hill as well. The downsides to that, you're not at full HP, but the upside is that you're level 3 when you come into these Pogo Punks, which means you have a little bit more offense. It makes them a lot easier to kill.
Do you think it's worth skipping that first Pogo Punk in a race setting if you get a dog fight?
No, never. I would never do that.
Get a
because you need the experience from that first Pogo Punk to level up after Frank.
Oh, I see.
Because the main thing that, like, technically you can do, you can skip the first Pogo Punk and still beat Frank and Frankenstein even unmanipulated. But you need Frank to go really well, most specifically of all. And Frank loves to just cut you to ribbons, so to speak.
Ruin your entire day by just slashing you twice in a row.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like you really want crits, and here's ChefGobes actually critting this first Pogo Punk, and that's the extra offense that lets you do that in one round.
Opting to take the second Pogo Punk fight without healing, as long as this goes well.
I mean, this dude can't see apparently, so Chef has taken no damage from any of these Pogo Punks coming into this Yes Man Jr. fight, probably with about 30 HP, 29, which is a really nice amount. I mean, they can come into this, reliably kill us, and then the bread roll might still be enough to get him back to full. Oh, they're doing a life up early. They just didn't want to risk it, which is fair.
This Yes Man Jr. can really ruin your day. It's pretty unlikely, but those 11 hits really hurt.
Yeah, the best possible thing is if they were to drop the bag of fries, but that's not very likely.
There's a 1 in 32 chance.
It's something like that. Ooh, Chef getting a crit to start out with. Then they risked it because they bashed twice. This would be like a really risky play if they bashed twice and they missed. But it worked out great for them. And then Serra taking a death to Frank. So that's 2 deaths in the arcade for Serra while Chef is starting their Frankenstein fight. And Frankenstein's first attack is always going to be a weak attack, so very nicely done from Chef to knowing they're safe to bash on the second turn.
Putting the life up on the attack turn. Usually pretty smart to do.
Yeah, after the first turn, it can be a strong or a weak attack, and so the strong attack can do up to 30-something damage. So Chef recognized that their HP was in the range where they could have died. So they life up, and it worked out. He did do the strong attack, so I think it was a good call. And Chef is getting through Arcade without any deaths. You know, some extra fights on the hill, but they're in the lead right now. Sarah's taking 2 unfortunate deaths here early.
We will see if Serra chooses to take some riskier strats to make up the time that was lost from these deaths.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like Sarah, you know, even with the 2 deaths, Sarah's really still not that far behind. Like, she has to kill Frank, she has to kill Frankenstein, but the slug grind can be a big time swing. Titanic Ant is still left to beat. There's a lot of things left on the table that Sarah doesn't have to necessarily start playing like panicked or anything like that. She can still play like, you know, her regular Earthbound game and you know, just hope it's enough to catch up to the lead that Chef has right now.
And there's certainly still a lot of game to go. The slug grind could go a certain amount of ways. Titanic Ant, of course, and then you have Peaceful Rest Valley, like 3 Graveyard, all the way up to the Boogey Tent. There's no way to know what else is in store for Chef here.
Sarah gonna heal on this turn. It was a weak attack though. Panicked? You cannot play Panicked at this point.
There will be no panique at the disco. Not tonight.
Alright, so we're gonna be buying some burgers here. This is for Titanic Ant, because that guy is a jerk.
They're getting her Frank heal while Chef is coming to buy some hamburgers. I don't believe any of them are used, so it should be 5 being bought here.
Yeah, I don't think Chef had to really use any.
I think he
But
bought.
they fought a crow. I think he fought a crow. He might have a cookie in his inventory.
Yeah, I think he bought 4. We will see.
We'll see what the key. Once the key to the shack is used, we'll see what ChefGobes' inventory looks like.
Oh, that's
There is
full up.
indeed a cookie and a bread roll still. To be honest, I would drop them. But that's just me. They're free to do whatever they want. Oh, and some nice slugs early. This looks like just 2, but you know, you'll take anything to jumpstart the grind.
2 on her own initially is sometimes pretty good, because I believe that's enough to get you that first level, right?
I think it is. Yeah, it's just enough. Unfortunately, they did not get a lot of offense from that level up. They just got 1 offense. Usually you kind of want a bigger offense bump so that you can start auto-fighting the slugs. Because honestly, auto-fighting slugs saves a surprising amount of time. More so than I think people realize.
And unfortunately, I got nothing but mice on the way up.
Yeah, Chef's trying to get to this little rock patch right here so they can start doing this, you know, this despawn and respawn strat here. They want the mouse a little bit higher so that I can get stuck on the cliff. With the mouse that low, it's really hard to get them stuck on the cliff. Here we got some slugs.
Okay, 3 pack. No,
It's
it's 4.
It's 4. There's a secret 4th usually. So this would be 6 slugs total for ChefGobes. They need 22 slugs total. Like in all to get to level 8. The reason we need to get to level 8, we need that PSI rockin', which hits every enemy on the field, but most importantly for Titanic Ant comes with 2 black Antoids, whose only thing they know how to do is life up. That's their little only move. And so you need them dead as soon as possible, because the worst possible thing is that you deal damage to Titanic Ant and then it gets healed by those stupid Antoids.
Chef, this is going to be their 10th slug once they finish this pack up. And Sarah has 3.
Yeah, so Sarah found a weird 3-pack, and
And
instantly finding another. It's probably a 4-pack, but yeah.
yep.
So Sarah has a weird count right now. They have 7. There's a couple things she can do. She can take like one mouse fight to like balance it out. We'll see what she ends up doing, but really, there's not that much. Just Sarah's critting every single slug in existence.
Stomping them straight out of existence. Ooh.
Oh my god, she just keeps walking left, and there's more.
Whoa,
There's more
yeah.
over there. So actually, Sarah is probably gonna get a lead here because of that. Because ChefGobes is having to keep respawning here. Okay, able to keep it tight. Just hold left. What could go wrong? If you hold left, the slugs are just gonna be there.
This is the redemption RNG from dying to in the arcade twice.
Absolutely.
There is still one enemy ahead of Chef after this fight.
Ooh, but a quick one for... Okay. Just pray 9 times and win. What could go wrong? It looks like Sarah's gonna start heading up early. Those are slugs. She could have taken those. Those are definitely slugs.
Looks like they're still the same slugs, maybe. I don't know if they...
I think they're slugs. I think they... Yep. So she technically still held left, as you know, the left of Giant Step, of, you know, just following the path, and she just kept getting more slugs. She despawned 2 of them, which was I found a little strange. Those are slugs there too, on the bottom.
Looks like she's gonna get them whether she wants them or not.
Yep.
Let's put her at 20.
Chef getting pincered by 2 rowdy mice here. Taking the fight. Doesn't want to bother trying to stutter them.
Sometimes it's the best choice over getting red swirled. You never know.
Yeah. It's one of the situations. So Sarah, now it looks like they're just going to take this single Antoid fight. Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
ran down the rope.
Yeah, my man's can climb.
Now this will get Sarah to...
Yeah, it will if she's able to finish the fight.
use hypnosis.
Yeah, but this is getting spooky. This is a scary fight situation. They could just kill her here. Okay, falling asleep because he's... Okay. Yeah, running away. I definitely agree. That's the problem with taking those Antoid fights, is A, they know how to climb, and then B, they love to call for help and life up, and they love to waste your time. They're very, very scary enemies. Panic stress.
Chef over starting his last pack. I believe this was going to be enough to get to this level.
Chef taking 1 from... Chef is taking 1 damage from these slugs, which is insane. I've never seen that. I've never seen someone have so much defense that they take 1 damage from the slugs.
Oh, and they did not level up. They must be 1 enemy away. Yeah.
Serra still had the bread roll too. Alright, we got some stuttering on both sides here. But Serra is level 8, so she's going to be making her way towards Titanic Ant.
Let's see, was she full HP? Will she need a second? Looks like not.
No, she was full HP, so...
And nothing in this room.
Yeah, just completely empty. This is stutterable. It's not fun to stutter, but...
Oh, it looks like this was... Okay.
Oh, it's good that it's just the 1. because all three could have joined, but one of them is kind of stuck in the upper parts of the room. Like pathing does a lot of weird things with that. And then she probably will eat a burger prior to the start of the fight. Or she might just start the fight if she wants to play mega risky. But yeah, she eats a burger, which I think is definitely the right play. You want to be at full HP going into this guy.
You never know when he's going to be a jerk and immediately start out with those strong attacks.
46 on the rocket is really bad. And then an instant shield. So 78 on the second one is about average. He's got about 120 HP left. And then the shield makes the fight take even longer. This shield's really strong. Serra's hoping for a crit here. Crits get rid of shields automatically no matter how strong it is.
ChefGobes about to start his fight. He does have 24 offense.
Yeah, we'll see how this starts for ChefGobes. Looking at this rockin', they also take a hit on the first turn, but their rockin' does 77.
She's starting to run out of burgers. She has 2 more left.
Yeah, the low rockin' damage is starting to catch up to her. The shield just keeps getting stronger. They're empty turns, which is nice. 104 on the second one. ChefGobes getting a much better rockin' luck. And it's an auto fight territory for Serra. Serra has no burgers left, but that's what last hit. So that was a long fight for Serra. ChefGobes may be able to make up some time here.
ChefGobes did get magneted and lost the life up, unfortunately. Did not die.
Yeah, I think that happens far more often than anything else. I pretty much consider the life up a luxury and not a given. But both runners surviving Titanic Ant, they're really close to each other at time right now. Serra has no burgers, which is kind of the big difference between the two of them. ChefGobes, I think, has 3 or 4 burgers.
I suspect we will see some burger buys before we go to fight the cops from Serra's.
Potentially. Some runners feel confident enough to just go for it. Other runners would just want the safety. I don't. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, ChefGobes checking his burgers. Sees he has 3. Now 4. 4 is like the minimum, I would say, to keep it. I mean, I think 5 is probably the comfiest, like, minimum. But 4 is very doable. But we still might see shopping from both of them, to be honest.
Ooh, lots of slugs and ants for Chef, getting all the lag coming down.
It feels guaranteed that on the way out, those were mostly slugs, by the way, that the game is just like, yeah, here are all the slugs. Like, if your slug grind was bad on the way out, every spawn plate is just slugs. It's like, yeah, just to torment you, just to taunt you.
Have fun rocketing them all. Or, well, stomping on them, I guess, so running from you.
Do you mean of the tournament so far? Probably Hunter.
I have that up, actually. It looks like...
I think it's Hunter with a 106.04.
Yes, that is correct. You're actually second, I think, with a 106.32.
Well, Hunter is second with a 106.08. He's first and second. And then also Peen Train got a 106.18 as well yesterday. And there's a 106.14 from Octopascal. So, I'm not even in the top 5, I don't think. Not that this is about me. Yeah, and Sarah definitely did not buy burgers. I know we were looking at the spreadsheet, but she was first to get to the cops. She is doing this burgerless, which is um, it's doable. It basically usually means you're gonna be bashing out strong rather than using rockets, and you're really hoping for not a lot of crushing chops, which Sarah right now so far she's getting. Yeah, Slug beat me as usual.
Sometimes
Oh
the
no,
attack slugs, they can get you.
she did buy burgers. I just wasn't looking at the spreadsheet like a dummy, and then I made an assumption, and look what it made me do. Look what it did.
Looks like Chef topped up as well.
Yeah, they were like the same distance apart, so I assumed that they both didn't. Still very small difference, about half a cop between them.
Okay, this cop has like 5 HP.
Yeah, it's
There we
usually
go.
still three hits to kill the cop, unless you crit. The outspeed on Serra's side on these heel turns is really definitely got to be really annoying. I personally hate when it happens.
It'd be really brutal because otherwise that heal will
ChefGobes,
heal
are you
the
dead
damage
here?
you took
Oh,
otherwise. Ooh, yeah.
oh, they mashed fast enough. Oh, but they healed again, and they dodged that crushing chop. That was very clutch from ChefGobes.
And Chef is now out of on net.
44. Sarah's has a decision. Yeah, healing, and you're just gonna bash out the rest of this. Meanwhile, ChefGobes might be able to double rock in 79. That's good. Here's the second one. And they're basically tied. There's maybe a second difference between these two runners.
My eyes were playing a trick on me. I thought Chef took out. I thought the last cop was strong, and it was not. Yeah, very, very close.
Yeah, very close race so far. Keeping it extremely tight.
We'll be able to see what kind of difference the movement and enemy spawns will make as they make their way to Goosen here.
Yeah, the mushrooms and Fart Cave. There's a handful of things that are gonna push and pull the lead between the two of these runners. Sarah picking up that burger. She has no more burgers left, so she has to pick that up to give to Applicant.
I think Chef might have been safe walking past that mushroom.
Chef is safe so far from everything I've seen that's spawned, but just playing it safe rather than risking it. Still safe from that. The mushrooms have a surprisingly small aggro radius. You can just pretty much just walk on the hard right of them, and like all those guys that were there, he could have gotten by, but that's one of those experience things. You realize like, oh, okay. Once you do it, you're like, I see it now. I see how small it is, but it's better safe than sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when the alternative getting is mushroomized, you can end up messing your movement up quite a bit, and if you get in a fight and Ness gets confused, you end up hitting yourself or trying to heal yourself and healing the enemy instead. It can be a nightmare.
Absolutely. Hello, Mashmoo.
Mash Mouth, rest in peace.
All right, so these runners going to be giving money to Apple Kid. There's going to be this sort of small little exposition section where we're going to be having to load the iron pencil into memory. And on the path to iron pencil, the aforementioned fart cave, which was named by the ever so lovely attack slug in chat. The reason she calls it fart cave is because the cave stinks. I can't believe it's stuck either, to be honest, but I love that it has. So there's these spawns in here, and it's really annoying when you have to walk out and walk back in, and you just have to despawn them. You can't really squeeze by them. They're just right in your way. As you can see on Sarah's screen, they're just completely blocking her path, and in some cases they're too close to despawn normally. Thankfully, Sarah only really had to do it, 2 or 3 times. Yeah, because fart's the funny word. I like the word fart. It's funny.
I believe in both Everdreezy and Fart Cave.
I do not believe in Everdreezy. You miss me with that.
So the pencil eraser is loaded on the screen as long as you touch that third bloop of grass, as it's called.
I don't know about bloop though. What is bloop stuck? It's like the third grass patch, a third tuft of grass. Like, what do you mean bloop?
Well, it's blooped onto the environment.
What do you mean it's tuft? Yes, as in a tuft of grass. Like the word that it means. I don't think so far, John Orsi, but it's pretty. People have all their visual cues. You have only heard Ori. Don't gaslight me.
Ooh, getting a hippie spawn, getting around it.
Yeah, using the terrain of Tucson to her advantage. 5,000 bloops to an acre. Yeah, I know when I'm talking to my realtor, I'm just like, listen, how many, like, I need a lot of bloops of grass on this land, alright? A toot of grass. All right, so Sarah has built herself a slightly bigger lead here. She's going to be making her way towards Peaceful Forest Valley to erase the iron pencil statue, and then make her way towards Happy Village. Peaceful Forest Valley, like once you get into it proper, can be very scary. I mean, there's a lot of enemies that can pincer you. Those UFOs are particularly nasty enemies to get into fights with. Very fast, very annoying to kill, and they love to attack you.
Yeah, they move just like the crows, and the swinging motion sometimes seems to be moving at hyperspeed comparatively.
Yeah, so they are similar to crows in that they can only move like left and right, but crows are immobile until you aggro them, and the UFOs and diamonds are just moving around, swinging wildly, even when they're not aggroed onto you. And they're like 3 to 4 times as fast in their swinging motion.
Interesting. Like a dog-crow hybrid.
Yeah, something like that. It's probably like the best way to describe it, because dogs are moving around all the time even when you're not aggroed onto them.
I'll walk on by this oak tree.
Yeah, the trees are convenient, even though they got big sprites and take up a lot of space. They move slower than nest does, So there's a lot of situations where you can sneak by a tree and then just outrun it because you just walk faster than it can't catch up to you. And this isn't a perfect example of it. I mean, she's going to use a skip sandwich, so she's really a lot faster in it, but she didn't even have to use it for that tree. She could have just walked by it.
Oh, she's going to be stomping on some snakes on the way here.
Yeah, there was one aggressive one anyway. She fought one of the ones that wasn't aggressive, but it ended up being the same. So we just rewarded the one that wasn't aggressive, basically. Looks like she's withdrawing here in Happy. I guess just in case maybe she took a death and want to lose the money. Well, ChefGobes has started Peaceful Rest Valley and making their way through it so far. So far, so good.
Getting through one of the hardest parts right here, too. Respawns here can be really brutal. Getting a safety butterfly, though. If something does come up, we'll be able to quite comfortably use rocket on it and recover that PP later, the guaranteed butterfly.
Yeah, that's true. UFO's still scary though because Rockin' actually has a higher chance to miss the higher the enemy's speed. So another reason why UFOs are a terrible fight to potentially get into. One of many.
And we had just barely missed seeing it. Serra luckily was not holding left going into the cultist cave. That cultist was very, very close and immediately started a beeline towards her.
Yeah, you have to be very careful about walking into that connector cave between Happy Village and like this cabin that Serra's at. Or a shack if I want to be consistent with the name of the fight, which is Shack Fight. Y'all can fight me on that, I don't care. If you buffer left, like Shuki was saying, it can mean a bad time. You have to really wait and react to make sure there's no cultists in your path.
And Serra is now past the shack cabin fight and getting a cookie for her troubles.
Just making sure you're pleasing all camps.
It is a cabin with a jail.
It is a cabin because of the key to the cabin. That is the best evidence you can use against it not being called Cabin Fight. But we have called it Shack Fight for a very long time, and you will respect the fact that we have been calling it the wrong thing for a long time, and we're not going to fix it.
I mean, I do say the Crow is perhaps the ringleader of the fight here.
I mean, I prefer Shack Fight. Yeah, Cultist Fight is in this. Yeah, exactly. Cool. Oh, thank you, cool.
And Serra's starting her cultist fight right here.
Just fart. Just name everything has fart in the name. They're both cultist fights? Yeah, but there's hella cultists in the cultist HQ. And there's a crow as well. Is the crow a cultist? Huh? Does the crow like believe in all of the cult stuff? He's just a crow.
I think the crow that joins the fight is at least a fervent supporter of Happyism.
I don't think he's. I think he's like just like, yeah, I guess. You guys do your thing. I'll hope you beat up this kid because I hate him, but I mean, I don't really care about the color blue.
And Chef finding quite a few cultists around the house. We tried to go to the left, there was one there. Tried to go to the right, there was one there. Tried to go back to the left, and there was one hiding on the bottom. Luckily not having to aggro it.
Relix is just pulling the string on the back of the Woody doll and saying things like this random Earthbound references to me.
Oh,
They're
Serra.
having a really nice
Yeah.
car painter.
Our painter is done with. Gonna be
Iago
having
is the name of the parrot from Aladdin.
46 HP going into the Death Warp is not bad. 2 hits from the mole potentially, probably 3.
Can be 1. Mole has a massive damage range. So it can technically still kill a nest in 1 hit. More likely it's 2. Because the minimum is like in the 30s. But it can hit nests for anywhere from like 30 to 60.
Oh, I see.
And it can also crit you too. And the crit does like high 60s. Chef getting a really nice reflect on that first turn. And a
Ooh.
110. Oh, he's just dead!
Yeah.
He's just dead!
Suddenly, this race is seeming a lot closer.
Yeah, I mean, ChefGobes is still keeping it really, really close. I didn't think that rocket would kill.
Oh, using the skip sandwich probably was a menuing error. It was picked up in the cultist house.
I think she's fine with using it here, even if it was a menuing error. Didn't look like it, but I guess it could have been. She might just want the speed. I mean, ChefGobes used their skip sandwich instantly as well.
Yeah. It's definitely not a bad thing. At this point, the only useful place for it would be in 3 to get away from something scary.
True.
Outside of just gaining the speed, of course.
Alright, so Serra gonna be entering her mole fight. Not getting red swirled by it. Still okay, but you want to get red swirled by it. Starts off by killing Paula. It's kind of what you want, but also what you don't want, because then this happens. And now he's feeling strange. Serra deciding to bash the mole, which is always risky, but so far not biting her in the butt. And still pretty decent mole death warp, all things considered. I super never like to bash the mole because I have crit the mole more times than I can count. And then I just kill him. So it's like the worst possible thing that it's like the biggest waste of time you can possibly do.
Some small optimization, because I've seen some people have some issues with it, and I did in the beginning as well. For the mole here, once he you just run right into him and then tap down. Once an enemy touches you, you have a little bit of time to react and switch your direction, so you can just press down, you'll get a red swirl.
Yeah, you can like last second. The game gives you time to try and like last second correct if you're like about to get red swirled by something. It's pretty generous that way. And ChefGobes also getting a really nice death warp. They're still super close with each other. Serra with still a slight lead, but you know, Winters is probably going to be the big thing that decides this race.
Yeah, in Winters we have 3 potential enemy skips and then an entire pond cave to get through.
Pond cave generally tends to be like the biggest factor.
Yeah, I find Pond Cave with the more experienced runners and their ability to stutter past many of the rooms can save a whole lot of time compared to despawning.
Absolutely, I agree.
Sarah here. She is going to give Everdreezy a talk here, get her money.
It's fine. Whatever, man. It's not his name. It's not his name. You know, it's like his name is Everdread.
This is true.
You know,
It's just an
you know what I
affectionate
mean?
nickname.
You know what I mean? His name is Everdread. Not Everdreezy. So I was just thinking, I don't know, like, no, come on, God, come on, no, stop it, God, please. I'm not saying his name. I'm not saying his name. I will say his name. His name is Everdread. His name is Everdread. That's the name on his birth certificate, or at the very least, the cool nickname that he came up for himself. You're double nicknaming him potentially.
We don't know what his name is. That's his
Yeah, because
mafia
I mean,
nickname.
Everdread is a weird name to have. His street name is Everdreezy. What do you mean? Everdread is already a street name. He knows the streets. The mean streets of Tucson. The streets is really funny.
Does Everdread show up in any of the randomizers?
He could be a boss.
I think it's a good opportunity for some naming devs.
Nope. Nope.
They're here finishing up the Runaway 5 show while ChefGobes is in the middle of it. He is paying for the Runaway 5's freedom.
We have Keyboard Terry there. No. No, Slug, come on. This is ridiculous. I draw a hard line at that. We're gonna have words later for sure. Alright? We're having an argument later.
We did see a right bus by Serra.
Mm-hmm. And some very nice movement going above the little signpost there.
The dog is safe, thankfully.
Yeah, sometimes the dog can just be in the middle of the road. It just gets hit. It doesn't do anything, but it looks sad.
It's tragic.
Yeah.
I can imagine what those are already.
They're gonna be about Everdreezy later, I'll tell you that.
Chef doing a right bus as well, going around the sign. It is quite difficult not to bonk on it. Even if you're below the Runaway 5 member and talking to him and starting the bus ride, you still can't always walk left and get past it. You still have to push up into him a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you kind of just get a feel for it. I still mess it up every now and then. Some other runners, you know, it's one of those things. If you can nail it, it's a nice little frame saver. Some people don't bother because they'd rather just the consistency, which I also respect. It's it's up to just preference at that point.
And there's a lot of, I guess, a really similar instance is going above the couch then, because it's a very similar movement to not get stuck on the lamp there too.
Sorta. It's like sort of the same concept. You kind of have to walk diagonally behind the couch for a frame. But Serra having a pretty decent
I see.
graveyard, just a couple of despawns.
The interesting thing about this person here, you, yep, and we get it from Serra.
Yeah, you can talk to her. She has nothing to say. She says no problem here, but she does turn towards you. Like what? What do you want?
She acknowledges your existence, but there is no problem here.
ChefGobes having a nice, really nice graveyard so far. We'll just see how the walk out goes. Walk out looking clear. ChefGobes having just an immaculate one. Keeping this race as tight as ever.
Sarah is spending the night in the zombie jail while Jeff is going to have a field day in Winters, and ChefGobes is close behind her.
So we got the start of the winter section here. Sarah's going to be doing some annoying things thanks to this jerk named Maxwell who tells you to do a bunch of dumb stuff because he's a dumb guy. We're going to be picking up Bubble Monkey, which is everyone's favorite character. You're going to see a lot of people in chat talk about how great Bubble Monkey is.
You know, Bubble Monkey definitely quite a few tiers above Maxwell in my book.
I hate Maxwell so much. Alright, Sarah dropping the broken spray can. That's to save a little bit of time when repairing, when staying in the tent right before the Tessie cutscene. Because it gets rid of the text saying Jeff fixed the broken spray can, it became the defense spray. The downside of dropping the broken spray can is that the fixed spray can that becomes a defense spray sells for $250, which can be beneficial if your Boogey tent goes wrong. But Sarah's not planning for Boogey tent going wrong. Sarah's planning to win here. So right now, in her mind, there's no point in keeping it. And even if she does die to Boogey tent, she should have enough money for at least one retry.
You know, the strat there that I learned recently, go to the hotel as Ness, because it's cheaper with only one kid. Get your PP up for rockin', then go revive Jeff and fire any bottle rockets that you have remaining, and potentially purchase some more on the way.
Yeah, you don't need Paul alive for Boogie percent specifically. It matters more in glitchless because you really want her to have the levels. But Boogie percent, it does not matter.
I'm sure you need those fires to take care of 3 tunnel and proceed down into Belch's lair.
You need fire for minibar. You need freeze beta for Belch. Like you just need her. You need her to have HP from Old Cave. Like Paula is very important in the glitchless run for the middle section. So you really don't want her losing experience if you can help it. I mean, sometimes it happens. It's out of your controls, but you know that's the situation at the very least. Your ideal situation is that you want everyone alive in the glitchless run for most parts of the run. All right, so we're about to have our first Tessie of the night. So I would love to see some Tessies in chat.
They're gliding off the tent pole, or tent stake, I guess it is, and narrowly avoiding the photo trigger there.
Yeah, there's a photo trigger right below that tent you can see on screen. As long as you kind of roll off the stake of that tent, you won't touch it. But if you're just a little bit off, you can still get the photo. Walking above the tent is slightly slower, maybe about like a second or so. So it's not a big deal if you don't go for that, but it is one of those time savers that does add up.
Yeah, it ends up losing quite a bit if you miss going below. So sometimes it may be worth just taking that second, considering you've got like an hour and 6 to 10 minute, maybe an hour 20-minute category.
Yeah, it's about 20 seconds to get a photo, something like that. So you have a chance. So you save a second, or for a chance of losing 20 seconds, or you just lose a second for no chance at losing 20 seconds.
Oh,
So
and
that's the decision you're making. And we got Tessie coming up while Tessie is going down.
Tessie has left Sarah's screen to join us in Chef's screen.
We got Tessie's flying around on Chef's screen too.
They're getting pretty close to the first proto skip. Little Monkey ruin it for her.
It's still pretty tough even to just get Jeff by. It's like it's one of those things where like Bubble Monkey ruined it there, but it's hard to even know if
Yeah.
Jeff was going to squeeze by. That's how tough that first proto skip is. It's one of the things that a lot of runners usually just go for, because sometimes you get it and you're like, cool, but it's like 1 out of every like 100 plus, first protoplasms you do.
Really tight timing. I think I've only gotten it once, like out of a pretty long practice session. Sarah did do short work of the first protoplasm and not bothering to try and skip the duck as he was wedged in that left corner there.
So the left corner there, Sarah actually was going for a bit of a more old school duck skip. The duck's stuck in that left corner there. Sometimes he just kind of stays there, and you can skip him without an issue. He aggroed onto her particularly quickly this time, so it didn't work out for her, but she kept the fight quick. She didn't spend a lot of time setting up duck skips, so she's cruising through this brick road. Yeah, you can't green swirl any of these fights. They're scripted fights, so you can't get red swirled by them either. But Sarah getting second proto skip, very nicely done.
ChefGobes taking quite a bit of damage from this proto.
That should be it though, nice. Probably gonna eat the boiled egg or the bread roll. They heal for about the same. Sarah considering centering this, and she's gonna go for it. ChefGobes not bothering with duck skip either. This is a tough first stutter that Sarah has to go for now, because she has to go up, and she was trying to set up for it, but she's just gonna take the mouse fight instead. It's not a red swirl, which is good. She should be able to get through this still, but taking it safe and eating the boiled egg in the middle of the fight as well.
Little Monkey getting a smash off that does not necessarily matter here, but always love to see it.
ChefGobes trying to do like a weird reverse of the second proto skip, but it only works if you go from the top and then move down. Because the present starts at the top of that little hallway, wherever you want to call it. But still making quick work of the protoplasm. But Sarah passed the first room of Pond Cave. Right, making her way into the second room. That mushroom is going to deny her the opportunity to try and stutter past that slug. That mushroom's going to deny her entry. And yeah.
Ooh.
Ew, yeah, that's a rough situation.
This mushroom's a bit
She-
scary.
She might not die. It can't mashermize her, which is good. These mushrooms cannot do that. But it unfortunately is aggressive and hits hard. So ChefGobes now slightly in the lead. Taking a mouse fight here. It looks like they're having trouble getting through this first room, just this despawn.
And I think after this mouse fight, he will be able to get past these two slugs that are waiting for him.
Yeah, even if he can't, they're just slugs. So it's one of those situations. Oh, he gets the green swirl on it, so even better. He can just run.
That was interesting. I don't know if Jeff green swirled or if Bubble Monkey did. Maybe they both did.
I believe Jeff did. You can technically green swirl them with Jeff. It's very difficult though. It involves using iframes and then like getting right behind them as the iframe, like the frame before the iframes. It's dumb.
Yeah, so they don't turn.
Yeah, exactly. Serra also just gonna brute force her way past these slug fights. The boiled egg now for ChefGobes, just trying to make his way through these slugs. Serra, however, going to be stuttering past these, so now Serra has regained the lead just slightly, but they're virtually tied here.
Ooh,
But now this second room is just completely empty. What are spawns anyway?
that's... And Sarah, now, the only thing in between her and the Boogey tent are these mushrooms up top. We'll see how they spawn.
Yeah, so there's a lot of spawns that are easy to bypass, but she's going to be looking out for mushrooms that are a bit too close or directly in her path, but that guy is directly in her path, so she has to despawn. Yep, and then just one despawn, and she's out of Pawn Cave. Meanwhile, ChefGobes getting to the third room of Pawn Cave. Not out of this yet.
First part clear. And a couple mushrooms.
Almost the second part. Alright, second part clear. Picking up the bottle rocket first.
And some small frame saves we saw from Serra too. If you wait for Bubble Monkey, they'd be right underneath of the rope. Like when you're passing by the first time, Bubble Monkey has less distance to travel while he's up in the air.
That's correct. ChefGobes having nothing up there. Mushrooms they've never spawned in this cave.
This is pretty much going to come down to how nice Boogey Tent's going to be to Serra.
Yeah, a fight before Boogey Tent could potentially put some complications into the mix. Or Boogey Tent himself just being a jerk.
Now, so it looks like Chef's PB is a 1:15:08, so we may very well see a PB out of ChefGobes as well.
Yeah, it's looking like a big PB if that's the case.
Yeah, I think they're going to be about a minute ahead going into the Skyrunner.
Yep. It's about like 35-ish seconds between the runners. Maybe 40 something.
Yeah, I'm not sure if their splits were exactly at the same place, but yeah, it's pretty much just around 40 seconds.
I vaguely paid attention to when the Skyrunner took off. It's something in that range. Yeah, this is a situation where Serra just wants to just a nice, simple, clean, boogie tent. Doesn't want any surprises.
You were in either runner situation, would you pick up the safety teddy?
No, I would never. Not in this situation. If I'm watching anyway. Actually, for Serra, I might. So if I was Serra, I might pick it up. If I was ChefGobes, I would not pick it up. I suspect ChefGobes will probably still pick it up. Serra might skip it, but I don't know. I don't think it's close enough that the teddy bear is going to be like the huge difference maker. Serra doesn't like the bear. I mean, I guess for Boogey percent, it sort of makes sense.
In glitchless, you can choose to take it now for it helps you for the tunnel, or you can save it later for
Shroom, but
yeah, shroom.
But in glitchless, it's also like you want that teddy bear in glitchless to survive all the way to Belch if possible, because if Belch targets the teddy bear, you don't have to use your refreshing herb there. You can use it in Mole Cave instead. Because Belch's first turn is always going to be to make someone nauseous. Serra did pick up the bear, and also going to be doing some shopping beforehand. Just picking up a bomb.
Giving it to Paula, gonna make sure this tent is dead.
Yeah, so we're going to probably do defend, BBR, and then if that doesn't do it, rock and bomb, bottle rocket. ChefGobes walking to the left for some reason, almost getting into a zombie fight, but remembering that gotta walk to the right.
Or 79.
Yeah, this is the rocket and the bomb are guaranteed gonna kill as long as the rocket hits.
Yep.
And the bottle rocket does it, so that's a GG for Serra. ChefGobes not doing any shopping, just going straight to Boogey Tent.
Big GG's to Serra while ChefGobes starting up his Boogey tent.
Defend, BBR. Spooking Fly Honey is a great first turn.
527.
Yeah, very close to dead. This Rockin' could do it. Use the pack of bubblegum by accident, but maybe the Boogey tent would blow a bubble and instead just die. The Rockin' did 48 damage. So that's super fun. I love when the Rockin' does basically no damage.
This one here should do it. Yep.
Yeah, it does.
That's enough. GG to ChefGobes, who's getting a big PB here.
This is a big PB for ChefGobes. Serra taking the W, though. Congratulations to Serra, but also congratulations to ChefGobes on a great PB and also a super close race and a great race. Very fun to watch.
This was very excellent. Even with those 2 deaths to the arcade, everything was super close. And GG the ChefGobes as well.
I got bubble gum. I think that was a 113.59 based on what I saw, but you could call it an even 114 if you want. Yeah, very, very great race. Thank you for letting me join you, Shuki.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me. It's been very pleasant. I've enjoyed you being here. We do have another race later tonight.
That is going to be at 10 p.m. Eastern, which is in roughly an hour and 40 minutes. We will be going offline in between now and then. But there's still more Boogie Percent action to come today and tomorrow as well. But both myself and Shuki and Slug and Lord Taco um, will be racing tomorrow. At the very least, Slug and Lord Taco will. There's some stuff up in the air about myself and Shuki's race, but we're gonna try and make it work. If not, it'll be restreamed on a different date. But we guaranteed at least have Attack Slug versus Lord Taco guaranteed happening tomorrow, for sure.
Yep, we may have some scheduling. Need to do some scheduling, that is, but otherwise there will be a quad tomorrow night.
Yeah, we do have Peen Train doing some glitchless. If that's where you want to send the raid, and it looks like that's what we're doing.
You all have a great night, and I hope you stick around and come join the next race.
I think it went through, so you can hit stop streaming, I believe.
Yep.